So I just had a heated discussion with someone that I did consider a friend. But anyways, needless to say, stop trying to Africanize my people. Stop trying to Africanize my people. We are not African. We are not descendants of African. The problem with you guys is there's those of us who have traced our genealogy. We are from North America through and through. You will not Africanize us. I don't care what you said. I don't care about your DNA test. That don't mean shit to me. Do your genealogy. And if you do happen to be African, be a proud descendant of an African. But we ain't African over here, buddy. We is not African over here. We are from North America. Wrap this shit up.
I have come up across comments of black Americans, and not all, but some of black Americans, they are saying that we are not Africans. Stop deceiving people. And I was like, okay, this is one of the most topics that when I talk about it, I feel my heart is heavy because I'm trying so hard to make it work. I'm trying so hard for this unity because I believe deep down, I believe in my heart that a lot of black Americans are descendants of Africans. And I believe that whoever knows his identity knows the truth of his life or knows the truth and everything. Because if you don't know your identity, something is wrong or something is not okay. And that's why the system is trying so hard to make us or to make some of black people to believe that their identity is in the USA. I believe there are some foundational black Americans, those who are there before even Europe, you know. I know there are native black Americans who are in America. I know maybe some black people in America, maybe they didn't come from Africa, but I believe a number of black Americans are descendants of Africa. I'm saying so because of a comment that I received. And I was like, let me talk about this identity crisis. And a black person who rejects Africa is not confused. No, a black person who rejects Africa, they are a product of a psychological war that is so deep. Okay, so I made them this system. It made them fight their own reflection. So what these black Americans, and that the comment I received, if you don't agree you ain't from Africa, use the term I am not from Africa. Don't say we are not from Africa, because I have a lot of black Americans in my circle. I have a lot of black Americans who are my friends that they are relocating, they have relocated, and they are planning to relocate. So it's not all black Americans who are rejecting the African ancestry. Okay, that's what I'm going to talk about. But before I continue with my video, I want you to watch these clips here, and then I'll come back and talk more.
So I'm in anatomy class, anatomy and physiology, and it was like I just made a video on this yesterday where I was just like, the reason why racism is still prevalent is because black people are not united. And so in A&P we're talking about like how sometimes the body with autoimmune disease or immune disorder, the body attacks itself and destroy healthy cells. And in my head, I'm like, how can the body have an identity crisis? Because if the body's attacking itself to cause me to remember, I'm like, oh, like you're having an identity crisis. Like the cell don't know how to differentiate. And like, that's how I think about the reason why like black people are still against itself. Like we have an identity issue because we fail to realize what our identity is. And we've been trained, brainwashed, and manipulated into think what our identity should be. And so therefore we attack from within, which destroys us, right? Like everything has just been manufactured to happen. Like gangs have been manufacturers because it's like sell like black and black attacks. But like, what is black and black attacks? You get what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense because crime happened all over the world. But the problem with African American is that we truly have an identity issue. And when you have an identity issue, there's no foundation. We can have unity. We cannot have unity with identity crisis. So therefore, because just like the body, when you have a immune disorder, like I'm attacking healthy cells. So just like the black people, because there's such an identity crisis, like they attack each other, and that's how chaos is continuing to be. Because if I can put a nice disruption in your face, I can cause you to attack each other. If I can pump addictive substances in a neighborhood, I can cause you to attack each other, not realizing that the root of the cause is because of the lack of education and the lack of resources. So then people have to find ways to make a way out of no way, right? And so that's what I'm saying, is just like things are still able to happen because the brainwashing is done from the inside out, and because there is such an identity crisis. And we as black people, we don't just look at your skin and be like, okay, you're black, you're a part of us. It's more like, no, I'm black, but I was born in the US and you were born in Ghana. And oh no, like I'm black, but I'm also mixed with white. Whereas like with white people, it doesn't matter where they're from. I'm white, right? Like I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter if you're from Europe. Like on a job application, it's either you're Caucasian or you're not Caucasian, right? And I feel like that's the problem, is like when there is an identity issue, there is a lack of building unity. You cannot build unity where there's no identity. And that's why my parallel yesterday was the fact that the LGBTQ community is able to get so much law passed despite them being marginalized is because they have an identity. They know what they're trying to do. They know what they're trying to say, and everybody is trying for the same goal in that situation. Therefore, more things is able to happen. If we can fix our identity and realize that we've been pumped to believe that we're not worth it, but we are worth it, because why else would you hire, or not hire, but why else would you rob an entire nation of people you don't feel like it's worthy of doing the job? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I know you're capable of doing the job, but in order to brainwash you, to keep you inferior, I have to change your identity. I just want you guys to think, just really think and think about like everything that happens. And I just pray that we find our identity, and
I think that black people in America have an identity crisis.
I think most black people in the world have an identity crisis. You got to remember, when a white man went into the Caribbean, if you were a British subject, you may have called yourself British. If you went into French West Africa, there are Africans who might still consider themselves subjects of the French Empire. You understand me? Most Africans globally have an identity crisis because we have been conquered by white people. Remember, only once upon a time, the only independent country you had on the face of this earth that was black was Ethiopia. That's the only free black country on the face of the earth at one time. And we were forced to do what? Speak our oppressor's language, right, wear his clothes, worship through his religion, and identify with his flag.
Right.
So we all had, and many of us still have, an identity crisis. Now, as far as all the different ideologies and political ideologies, here's what I say to that. I don't give it a lot of attention because I think most black people know they're from Africa.
Right.
So when people lie and say you're not from Africa, you're a Cherokee or a Choctaw, this or that, most black people have enough common sense and command of the history to know where they came from. I mean, you have DNA analysis now. We don't even have to debate this philosophically. We can find out genetically. Give some blood and let's see if the Cherokee Nation comes up on the damn paperwork. You understand me? It's not going to come up because you're an African.
Right.
But again, nobody wants to be on a losing team. So look at the contradiction. We'll get mad at a Jamaican African brother or sister who doesn't identify with us. We'll get mad at an immigrant Nigerian African brother or sister who don't want to identify with us. But you got American Africans right here who will tell you they're not African. I'm a Cherokee. Crazy. I'm a Native American. I'm an alien. I'm a this, I'm a that. And we don't say nothing to them. You see? So how is them not wanting to be an American African any different than a homegrown American African telling you I ain't African? You see what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
The harm is equal. So why separate it? See, as Pan-Africanists, we don't see, there's really no differences. The same isms and schisms and self-hate that we have in America, they have it in Africa. They have it in the Caribbean. This Jamaicans will tell you they're not from Africa.
The average white person in America has just as much African DNA as black people have Native American DNA. But they're not starting a movement off that or trying to claim African because they don't have an identity crisis. As a descendant of slavery in America, though, we have historically had that crisis, and it's understandable. Like, if you look at our average DNA, it's a bunch of regions from Africa. Why? Because they just mixed them all together like gumbo. They didn't care about what language, they didn't care about what people group. And by the way, you were either trafficked or sold off from people who look like you, sometimes under duress, but people like the Dahomey tribe, they didn't care. This was business. So you don't feel like you have a home there. You're the product of all these non-consensual sexual interactions with Europeans. So you got all this European DNA. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. This is a lot. Who are you? Where do you belong? Like, you don't feel African. You don't feel like, I get it. And so that's why every few years there's this new thing. Now we're Moors, and now we're Hebrew Israelites, and next week we're Indians, and next week we're African. Like, it is an identity crisis. And it's one that's completely understandable. I get it.
We are not Africans.
Forget that the Africans, the Arabs, and the white man are all a part of the transatlantic slave trade. So when you call yourself African, when you wear that Ankh, when you want to be Amin Ra and all of that, you're just joining another enemy to you. And what do Africans do for black people over here? Nothing. Nothing. They look at you like you nothing. They look at you like you slow. They look at you like, what's wrong with? Why you don't pull yourself up? But we try to join them. I'm gonna give y'all another one. Y'all know the island of Haiti, right? Yeah. Now the island of the Haitians is the tribe of Levi. Those my brothers. Those your brothers too. Now, y'all know they tried to join the African Union. Do y'all know that? African Union been established since 1969. 55 countries, all unified. The Africans love to say that we are part of them sometime when it benefits them. When the Haitians wanted to join them, they told the Haitians you're not African. And would not let them join them. But we love to be African.
I said I identify as American African. You said you identify as Black American, and I respect your right to identify.
Yes.
Oh, stay with me. You do not identify as an African, correct?
No.
Well, then that's the problem then. Stay with me then. You don't see them as your family anyway. So it
They
don't even
tell
matter.
you, you're older than me. You're older than me, so you used to hear them say,
you're black.
You're not
an
African.
African, you're black. So when you see an African immigrant, in your mind, you have no associated with them at all. Ancestrally, culturally, historically, nothing. So it's
they
almost
told
as
me
if
that.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom, make money and pay taxes and generationally live in a country.
I'm not African American. I'm American. There's no such thing as African American. I'm not African. Huh? Do I look like an African too? I'm brown, I'm not black. Don't call me black, I'm not African. You know, I was born in America. I don't have any relationship with African. I'm not one of them, so don't call me African American. I'm not African, I'm American.
I'm not an African American. I'm an American. I was born on American soil. But I did go back to the motherland, and I love it, and made millions going back to the motherland. But I was born in America. When the Europeans came to the Native Americans, well, they like to call them Native Americans, but the Indians' land, we don't call them European Americans. So I don't want to be called an African American. I'm an American. You know what I'm saying? You can call me a black American, but I'm an American. When I competed in the Olympics, they didn't say fighting an African American. They said that American that's fighting out of the red corner or out the blue corner. I love America. I love this country.
Why are you not African? You're just only American?
Yeah, I'm American.
Okay, explain.
So my most recent descendants are literally from Central America and North America, indigenous Black Americans. They have the same color, the same melanin content, but they are not from Africa. I can't name any country in Africa. What I'm saying is that if I take a test right now, I could say some Italian, some German, some Australian up in there, 13% Ghanaian, 19% Nigerian, like who knows and who cares? But what I'm saying is that my immediate ancestors are American. Oh, yeah. Mine.
Are they Black?
They're Black, but they're not African. So different. The whole thing about African booty scratchers and even why Black Americans have been called African booty scratchers is because the white people have classified us all as coming from Africa because we're all Black. And that's where the whole falsified information has come, where we all come from the Atlantic slave trade and all the Black people were just shipped here to this country and all over. That's not true. We were already here. We were already here lining up every part of the world.
But if what you're saying is true, then you are more Hispanic or Asian than you are Black, because before the transatlantic slave trade, there was what they call Paleo Indian, which those individuals.
No, and once again, you're misinformed, and that's that's nice.
I'm not saying that's the only people that were here, but they have
fine.
Paleo Indians, which the Aztec came from, which the Aztec, the Inca, those tribes came from what is called Asia to some extent.
What I'm saying is that with the transatlantic Atlantic slave trade, you've been misinformed to think that there were only, paleo, white colored Indians essentially that were here. That's not true. There were Black people here, or as people say, the Moors or whatever you want to call it. There were Black people here indigenously, like they were across the whole world.
Welcome back. Now, I'll start with a quote of Dr. Amos Wilson. He said something that should shake every Black person, okay? He said this: if you don't understand your identity, someone else will define it for you. If you don't understand your identity, someone else will define it for you, and they will define it to serve themselves. Get that? So this is exactly what happened to the African world. This is exactly what is happening to the Black world. The most powerful weapon used against Black people was not the whip. The most powerful weapon, it was not the gun, it was not the chains, but it was the destruction of identity. Because once you destroy a people's identity, you don't need to imprison their bodies. Once you destroy a people's identity, their minds will do the job for you. Their minds will be the chain for you. You don't need to be there every time to govern them. Their minds will do that for you. Okay? Because today, in 2025, okay, 300 years after the slave ships left, 200 years after colonization, Black people still argue. Black people are not stable. Black people are still confronting each other, saying that I'm not African, my ancestors didn't come from Africa, I don't relate to Africa, Africa is poor, Africa has nothing to offer, I'm different. We are still arguing with that. 300 years ago, 400 years ago. Okay? So that is just a strategy. That is a strategy and fingerprints of psychological warfare. Because if Africa is erased, if Africa is displaced, or if Africa is demonized and disconnected, then Black unity becomes impossible. And if Black unity is impossible, that means Black power becomes unreachable. And if Black power is unreachable, then white supremacy remains safe. So the identity crisis is not a small issue. The identity crisis is not a debate, is not a confusion or ignorance, but it is a weapon, and today we are breaking that down. And today we are breaking that weapon. Let us understand what we can do, because it has been years. We are still arguing on the comment section. I see comments like, we don't. To understand this present, we must go back to the engineered lie. Back then, And my favorite Dr. John Henry Clark said, to control a people, you must first control what they think about themselves and what they think about their history. Okay? So to control a people, you must first control what they think about themselves. You are inferior, you are less, you are evil, you are weak, you are angry, you are criminal. So what you think about your own society, it what matters. Okay? Step number 1, how they tricked black people into rejecting Africa. Step number 1, they destroyed the original identity. They banned African language, they banned African names, they banned African spirituals, they banned African cultural memory, they banned African history. So your ancestors were beaten for speaking their mother tongue. Your ancestors were beaten for practicing their spirituality. Your ancestors were beaten to remain or were beaten off remembering what? Who they are. Okay? And the psychologists of today call this forced cultural amnesia. And Dr. Wade Nobbs explained that this was intentional. If you erase a people's memory, you can program their behavior. And this is exactly what happened. Okay? What they did again, they replaced our identity with a fake identity. Okay? They replaced African with slave. They replaced African with Negro. They replaced African with colored. They replaced African with black. They replaced African with Christianized or Westernized identity. Okay? And they took away your origin. Let me talk to you. They took away your label. They took away your originality. Then they gave you a label, you know, like you are wearing Nike, you love Nike so much, and that is not your identity. Your identity is Futsubishi. They gave you a label you did not choose, a label that detached you from the land that made you. Because what they call identity is actually a trauma response. Okay? Number 3, they demonized Africa until descendants rejected it. Europe, America, and Hollywood launched a biggest propaganda machine in human history. Africa is poor, Africa is cursed. Africa is uncivilized, Africa has no history. Africans sold each other, African is dangerous. Why they do that? They did that because that a child born in New York, a child born in Kingston, a child born in Paris will say, thank God I'm not African, and that's what they are saying. I don't lie to you. And the mission was clear. The mission was clear because once you reject Africa, you reject your power, you reject your unity. Once you reject Africa, you reject your origin. Once you reject Africa, you reject your spiritual identity. And this is why black people are confused today. And that is the hardest truth. Black people have identity crisis. Black people were never given the chance to define or to define themselves. Everything that we call identity today, everything that we call race, nationality, tribe was engineered during what? During slavery and colonization. Okay? If your ancestors were enslaved in America, the system reprogrammed you to think that I'm American first, not African. I am a Jamaican, I'm a Trinidadian, I'm a Bajan, I'm not African. I'm a British, French, Portuguese, I'm not African. And meanwhile, white people never separated themselves from Europe. Asians never separated themselves from Asia. Why am I saying so? Because, for example, we had white South Africans, okay? And white South Africans, they take Africa as their motherland, as their land. But they never separated themselves from Europe. They never separated themselves from Europe. Even if they talk to you now, they will say, it is our home, Africa we came. But why is identity crisis so much hard? So it's hitting so hard in African society, in black society. Indians will never forsake their Chinese will never forsake this. Arabs will never forsake their identity. But it's only black people that we do that. Have you ever asked yourself, why are black people the one always fighting about I am not, I am not, I am not? Why is black people alone who are fighting this? Why this identity crisis is on black people so much? A high percentage of identity crisis, it's black people. Because this was a strategy that it was categorized, it was created and designed and modeled to think that to take your identity away. So each and every time you think about that, first, you are like, I'm not African because Africa is poor. I'm not African because you guys, you are uncivilized. You guys, you are still behind. You cannot run your home because your homestead is poor, and then you go in a city somewhere and you start saying, it is not my home. It is still your home. You are the one to go and change that to fit what you want. If you want to have a toilet to sit down, a toilet of sitting down, you are the one to go and build that. If you want a flying one, you are the one to go and change it. Living in a borrowed land, it's good. It is yours, you have buy a land there, but it doesn't go long way. Okay? It doesn't go long way. Because at the end of the day, I'll say this. Black people are so much powerful. Black people are the original people. Black people knows a lot of things. And the only thing they can minimize the power of black people, the only thing or the only way they can reduce the power of black people is to bring this narrative, is to deny or is to block them to know their true identity. Because if black Americans, for example, if you just agree, yes, I'm African, that's enough. Not even going to Africa, not even coming to Africa, just agreeing that, yes, I am an African and I'm proud African. I'm living in America, but I'm proud African. That enough is destroying a lot of propagandas. That enough is to destroy a lot of lies. Because if you accept and if you embrace your Africanity, if you see something bad happening to Africa, when people talk about it on social media, you will talk about it. You will go online and create a video and say, leave this alone, Tanzania. And the force of black people around the world, it's what they fear that much. Let me tell you, Africans, for example, I said Black Lives Matters. I was young. I didn't know what happened back then that much. But because black people were like, Black Lives Matters, and I was seeing those clips, and me too, I created a video. Back then I was a comedian, and I said, Black Lives Matters. It's not because I'm a black American. It's because I'm championing for my brothers and sisters. They are looking like me. We are cousins. All this narrative Africans sold you, they don't like you. Why don't you come and think? Why don't you come and visit Africa and then make a decision for yourself? Man, let's see. Let's see. All these comments I come across, it is paining me, but we are trying. I can't quit. I can't quit uniting black people. I can't quit uniting Africans and black Americans. I cannot quit on this journey because we are the people to bring this unit together. And let me tell you, I will talk about this, I will pass and go. There is a day Kenyan bees will not be there, but other people are coming. Other people are coming who will finish this journey. We may see Canaan, maybe we may not enter today, but definitely we will enter Canaan together as black people. Black Americans, Caribbeans, Afro, Latinos, all those, and Africans. We will enter the Greenland. Tell me what you think on the comment section about this video, because I know you have a lot to say about identity crisis. Those who are sending those comments, I'm not African, I want you to come down here, explain to us much, and use I, don't use we are not, because a lot of black Americans, they don't buy that. Tell me what you think. Until next episode, peace out.